In school, you get punished for being wrong. But in business, it's more of a learning. If you really want to be successful, you have to sacrifice things. And if that's being comfortable, so be it. You only live life once, right? So why not just go for it?
Hey everyone, and welcome to Be the Connection podcast, where we dive into stories of community, mentorship, and success. My mission is to bring you inspiring conversations, real insights, and the kind of value that helps you grow. So grab a seat, settle in, and let's get connected. Hey everyone, my name is Bea, and welcome to Be the Connection. And today's guest, he definitely brings a different perspective, one that I want to share with everyone that is something I feel we need now in today's society. So, thank you so much, Colin, for coming on. Welcome. Tell everyone who you are and what you're doing.
Well, thank you for having me on here. It's great to be here. I'm Colin. I'm 19 years old. I've been doing wholesaling for about year and a half or so. But now I'm actually trying to get into more of the social media stuff, more of the promotion stuff, marketing stuff. So that's kind of the next step I'm on right now. But I have a lot of experience with real estate. I'm also licensed as well. But I'm trying to help as many people as I can. So I want to take all the knowledge I learned and put it on social media.
Where'd you come from? How did you get into this place?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I was in sports. I golfed. I did a lot of like athletic stuff. And once I kind of figured out that going that route wouldn't necessarily work for me, I went right into real estate and like entrepreneurship. So I'm very thankful for my mom. She's the one that brought me into real estate, and that's where I really started to learn and pick up all the stuff I know now. But I've been in the community for a few years. I've met a ton of people and I've had a lot of success now, but it took me a very long time to get to the point I'm at now. I failed over and over again, but it's really good when you have people who are already successful in the industry that you can rely on.
Yes, absolutely. And, especially having someone at home too that cultivates and nurtures that space as well. So that's really really important. I feel like a lot of times people, especially at your age right now, are focused on a lot of different things other than real estate or, investments, things of that nature. So how has that been for you?
Been a long journey, let me tell you. It's really tough because, like my days are not like the average person or average college student's day. Like I'm working most of the day. So it's definitely a lot different than going to class, studying, and just doing that. And I'm doing that as well, but I'm also, closing real estate deals, doing wholesale stuff, and now social media stuff as well. So my days are really packed. I'm not going to lie, but it's one of those things I knew coming into this industry. It's going to happen. You're going to be really busy, but it's kind of a sacrifice that I accepted a long time ago. And, just trying to chase my dreams, honestly.
Yeah. And what are some of the dreams that you have?
100%. Yeah. So I have a lot, honestly. I do one day want to be able to have a platform where I can inspire people who are especially younger entrepreneurs, have a path for them to get started because a lot of people, especially younger people who are trying to get into entrepreneurship or anything in that niche, struggle trying to find what they want to do. So I want to give people that pathway and make it as easy as possible for them to get to. So that's one of my goals. I do want to get into co-living, pad splits. Those affordable living properties have tons of potential, not only for tons of revenue, but also to help veterans, sober living, all of those, I guess, people that are struggling who need help. That's also another thing I want to do. And there's a ton of other little goals I have, but really, in the broad stroke of things, I want to inspire people. So that's my goal, honestly.
Have you noticed the inspiration that you give others, especially around your age?
Yeah, I think I will like tell you a lot of my friends tell me all the time, like, you're so inspiring. You've helped me so much. And I love to help people. And it's a really good feeling to have. So I have friends all the time back at home telling me, like, dude, you're doing a ton of stuff. Like, it's so great to see, but it also inspires me as well. And every time I hear that from someone, it makes me feel so good. So that's kind of why I want to keep doing this.
And for a listener out there who may not have that, who is actually watching this, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I think number one, if you're new to entrepreneurship in general or real estate, you need to figure out your personality and use your personality to your advantage. So if you're a louder person like myself, I like to hop on the phone. I like to work on closing deals. That's what I like to do. But I know you're a transaction coordinator. So I will tell you, a lot of people who are a little bit more on the quiet side tend to like transaction coordinating better because you don't have to do the mass communication all the time and, convince people to do a deal or something like that. So finding your personality, I think, is crucial. And then figuring out what business or what niche to get into from your personality is really something I would recommend.
I'm totally like that. I like to be behind the keyboard. I like talking, but a lot of times it's like, oh, how do I say something, or how do I say this to that
Mhm.
person in this form? So that's what my lovely keyboard is for, right? Now, especially when getting to know yourself, how did you get to that realization of who it is that you want to be, and in really getting to know your personality type at such a young age? And I say
I
young because I feel
Yeah.
like I'm older now. I've got like 4 kids now, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I knew ever since I was a younger kid that I was most likely not going to do like the normal life. And that's a realization I had, and I 100% believed it. So because of that realization, I just followed my dreams. But I knew, like, I'm a louder person. I like to be the main guy, the one who's doing all the talking. That's just my personality. My parents would say the same thing. Like, I literally told them, like, I cannot do the same thing that every other person does. I have to figure out how to be different.
That's so good. And to have such supporting parents like that too, that nurture that. I think one perspective that we can take into account, and I say we, people my age, I have a 7-year-old daughter and she's just starting writing her affirmations with me in the mornings. And so to really nurture children, especially younger, just to be on the path of what they want to be, and growing up to be successful, right? And so I think that's really important. Now, you mentioned your mom. I want to kind of go back a little bit. So your mom really sets you in a direction to start real estate. And so what were some of the challenges in learning and going through that process?
Toughest part of getting into any industry is the start. The start was brutal for me. And I know I went to a few like networking events and I started doing cold calling with people there. And I was so bad and it sucked. But I knew starting there and going through that path would be my way to success, right? So it was long and obviously it's still going. I still have a ton of struggles, but obviously now I've done some deals. I have a lot more experience. So it's definitely easier for me just because I've been through it. But starting anything is really hard. And I'm very thankful that my parents pushed me. It's really good to have someone on like right behind you who's like, hey, you got this, keep going. Once you get to like $5,000 to $10,000 a month, it gets easier. But between like $0 and $10,000, that's the hardest part to get past. You got to keep going, and you don't quit. You're not going to lose. Just keep going and keep fighting, and it's going to be really hard. There's a reward at the end if you keep going.
I know in some of the questions that I had asked you earlier is the art of never giving up. And I know you mentioned that before. So I kind of want to dig into that. What really cultivated that perspective in you and just never giving up?
Yeah, that's deep, but
Yeah.
it's a great question. Again, you're asking some great questions, but
It
yeah,
interests me because I
it's yeah.
I know for me, I was not thinking anywhere near the things you were doing right now. And I'm just so amazed. Like, it really is inspiring for me because that inspires me to like teach my children, like, wow, that's a great example because I didn't have that example for when I grew up. So I'm kind of just learning myself, right? So when I see people who are doing the things you are at your age, I'm like, that's something that I can help cultivate and teach my children. And so that's kind of what I take from that. And I feel like it's just so inspiring. So, yeah, I'm going to get like probably really deep.
I love it. But yeah, I honestly, I feel like when I was born, this is kind of crazy, but when I was born, I had this thing in my heart and I knew I had to do something impactful in life. You only live life once, right? So I want to accomplish something insanely crazy. Like, I want to do something super cool. So why not just go for it?
What do you think it was that really just, I mean, obviously, we have this nature where God really instills in us just growth, right?
Mhm.
And so for you, what did that look like?
It's been a long journey. All I could tell you is deep down inside, I knew I was going to do something special. I had that belief, and that's why I've had a lot of success, is because of that belief and that desire and that
Mhm.
hunger. Most people don't have that hunger, and I think having some sort of drive in you, and something like some sort of pressure even, is what makes you successful. You have to have something that you care so much about that you almost have to do it. Not like, oh, I kind
Yes.
of want to do it. You need to accomplish this.
Yes, absolutely. Oh man, that's really good. There's certain places in life that I want to meet. And for someone out there who's listening and just trying to figure that out, getting to know themselves better, getting to know their personality, I'm sure that starting off is that first step. So for them, what did that look like? I'm sure you had to go and put yourself out there. And that was kind of like naturally in you, right? To just kind of be that focus and meet people, but really getting to network and learning how to network. How did that look like for you?
It's very uncomfortable when you're starting because you don't have the knowledge that other people have. Now it's easy for me to go talk to another person in real estate because we kind of are in the same language. We could understand each other's perspectives. But if you want it bad enough, you have to be okay with being uncomfortable, with going to those events by yourself, talking to these people you've never talked to in your life. That's part of it. Because if you really want to be successful, you have to sacrifice things. And if that's being comfortable, so be it.
Or being uncomfortable, and in the fact that you don't know everything, and that's okay. So going into this, it's like, yeah, I don't have clue what's going on, but meeting the people that do and just learning from them, that's what opens up those doors.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Totally on it. It's tough. The world's tough, but
Yeah.
at least us, we're in this country. We have a great opportunity to be successful. We have all the freedoms in the world to go do it. So
Yes.
we have everything handed to us. It's just a matter of, can you put your head down? Can you work every day? And can you follow your dreams? And if you don't give up, the floor is yours.
Yeah, amazing. And it's strange. I feel like a lot of what we've learned today and what I've learned is that I didn't know any of this growing up. So, not having someone there or to teach me, to show me, this is obviously a whole nother realm, right? For those who don't have this and are just learning, probably this is just their first episode that they come across, what is something that you would share with them who have no idea about this industry, about this way of living?
It's a different reality. It's gonna be tough because what I'm doing, I'm basically hustling. I don't have any guaranteed income coming in. It's really just a matter of how much time and work can I put into it. If you're new though, most people have an iPhone. You could easily start dialing and start wholesaling right now for basically little to no money. So again, if I was to start over, I would probably do that again. There's so many different ways to be successful though. That's not the only way. But if you're new and starting, what you need to do is find someone who's already successful in the niche you're trying to get into and contact them, try to be around them and see what they're doing. And then eventually implement their ideas and their strategies into your business. And then once you start getting some leverage, promotion, you have social media, you have everything out there. All the tools are out there. You just need to figure out how to promote, how to market. And it's pretty easy to get some clients or sales or deals once you have that platform open.
Oh man. How do you feel it's changed you as an investor and as a person now as you've been in it for quite a few years now?
A lot. My perspective has completely shifted. Before, when I started, I used to think, this is before even the entrepreneurship stuff, I used to think I have to work hourly to get my paycheck from my boss. And now I think, how can I put my money I make from my business into assets that make me more money? So
Mhm.
that perspective completely shifts once you start working for yourself instead of for someone else. The perspective just naturally flips, in my opinion. And I think for me too, there's a ton of real estate gurus and entrepreneurs on social media that we can see now. And back 20 years ago, you couldn't see those perspectives. So I think it's a lot easier for people now to see that perspective and want to be like them versus back then when you couldn't see YouTube. You couldn't watch these guys on Instagram or TikTok or anything like that.
Yes, back then there wasn't as much visual, like videos, shorts, and things like that. There was always just words. It was always just post a little, post of words. But That was it. Is it different from where you are, with school than when it is when you're in business and with those that like is it two different crowds for you? How is that like?
So actually, I am rooming with a guy who's in business with me. He's one of my partners, so that's awesome. But it's totally different because I was in high school last year. I graduated last year. In school, you get punished for being wrong. But in business, if you're wrong and you mess up, it's not really a mess up. It's more of a learning experience. Like even if I have a bad call, I'll learn from it, go on to the next one, make some money. For school, if you fail a test, you fail a test. So I think you shouldn't get punished for failing. I think it should be more as like a learning experience. So those are like the two biggest differences. But then again, the crowds are totally different. I'm working with guys who are hustlers who are trying to make as much money as possible and who are trying to make an impact. And obviously there's people on the traditional side that are too, but the mindset is slightly different. In my opinion, from what I've seen on the traditional side, they're in school, they're trying to get that corporate job after college and move up the corporate ladder. And that could work. I've seen plenty of successful people do that. But from my perspective, I would rather go now, hustle now, and be hopefully move up my ladder, and I'll probably move up much quicker because I'm not relying on my degree. I'm relying on my skills, my partners, and myself.
Absolutely. You see, there's two different ladders, but one of them is yours and the other isn't. And it's like, well, which one do you want to climb?
Really good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You like I can't live in someone else's life and someone else can't live in my life. So it's a honestly, I think it's a pretty unpopular opinion that I have because tons of people are in college, but there's so many ways to make it. And I chose this path. And I am in college currently, but I'm still leaning towards my wholesaling path, the social media path, because I have full control of my destiny. Versus if I'm graduating, I'm relying on the boss or someone who's higher up than me choosing me to work for them.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I love how you put that. It's more of a punishment, right? So something that I do when as I homeschool, we homeschool our girls and our 7-year old, whenever we're letting her know, okay, this one, how about we go back and fix this one? Or how about it's more of like a correction.
Mhm.
So it's always shifting that versus saying, oh, no, you got this wrong and you fail. Like we don't do a grading system, no, it's just, okay, how can we correct this and then move forward and learn from that? So I love how you mentioned that because a lot of times that's why people are afraid of success. They're just scared to fail and they see that as a punishment when actually it's actually really good. It pushes you, right? It really shows you a better way of like, okay, this didn't work. Let me try a different
I
route.
have failed so many times in school from normal assignments to tests to projects. And I feel like I'm a decent human being still. So I do think that traditional side is good for some people who want that path, I guess more guidance, but having a grade doesn't make you who you are as a person. It's more of who you are like personality wise, how you're helping the world, how you're changing the world. That's more important than any grade. A grade just a number that it's honestly irrelevant in my opinion.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So then being able to see those two different perspectives, how has that elevated in your networking and connections with building your business, in the communities?
It's been great. I think I have a very similar personality to most of my business partners. So having that matching idea and perspective, I think grows businesses as a whole. So I'm very thankful for having my guys because I wouldn't be at the spot I'm at without any of them. You need to
Yeah.
have a team. And I think I tell this to people all the time who want to start a business alone. It can be good, but in order to get to the top and start making serious revenue as a business, you need to have a team because if you're an individual running everything, you're against teams in the exact same niche who will beat you just because there's more of them.
Ooh, yeah, absolutely. And then I feel too that that's something to take into account because then even when you have a team, you're not utilizing them, right? And it's having to really utilize your team members, like try delegation and other things that you cannot carry on your own because I think a lot of people sometimes carry things on their own and then they think that I can handle it all or I wanted a specific way done and only I can do it. But really It's leaning on others to help you grow as an individual and as a company. Okay, now what's your approach to building strong long term relationships?
I think to build a strong relationship long term with anyone, you need to figure out how to give them value. If you're able to bring value to them, they're going to bring it right back to you. If you can help someone make a lot of money, they're going to come right back to you and help you make a lot of money. So it's really a matter of how much value can you bring as an individual to anyone. And if you want to make a lot of money, that's the simplest trick for success. Learn a skill, gain knowledge, get value from that skill, bring it to others who don't have that skill, and everyone makes money together.
For someone out there who's barely learning this, may not have a network, may not have the connections that we've built, what is something that you would tell them?
I think what you could do is everyone has family, they have friends. They probably are going to know someone who they kind of want to be like. So I would utilize that. I would utilize anything you have and start there and keep growing. And eventually, once you start having some success, people will start coming to you for business. There's always ways to meet people because let's say I can bring an example. If you want to be a real estate appraiser, you could easily go to an appraisal office and say, hey, if you pay for my license, I'll work for you guys for free. And then what you do is you get that appraising license, you work your butt off, you become the best person in the office. From that, you're going to get tons of other opportunities, and then you're going to keep growing. So there's
Yes.
really no excuses to make it. You just have to do things that might feel scary or uncomfortable, but that's what it takes. You have to do those things. And once you get past that start and you have success, people start coming to you.
What is one daily habit or mindset shift that has made a huge difference for you?
My confidence and belief in myself. That's two, but both of those. Every day I'm getting up extremely early in the morning and I'm working all day basically. If you want to make it anything, figure out how to separate yourself from the rest of the crowd. And the easiest way to do that is by outworking them.
And so, for someone who is just unsure, feeling lost, who may not have that type of confidence, what is something that you would share with them?
I would say they would need to find someone, a mentor, someone who can give them guidance or almost hold them by their hand and slowly bring all the tools to them. Everyone who I have seen who's made it to the top have different stories. Some had people around them at a young age, some had nothing at a young age and still managed to make it. So you could have no knowledge of anything whatsoever and still make it if you're around the right people.
Yes. Do you feel like because of where you're at and how, your age and everything, that you don't have as much baggage really as most people who are just starting out at an older age? Do you feel that's much more relieving and, really helps you?
Yeah, I think starting at a young age is definitely a huge advantage, but I try honestly not to compare myself to others, even if they're my age or older, because comparison is good in a sense because it could help motivate you, but it's also bad because you're your own person. That other person, I can't control what he or she does, but I
Hmm.
can control my daily actions and my habits. So I use it as drive. Like if I see another 20 or a 19-year-old kid who's making a lot of money, it definitely motivates me. But I really try my best to just can not compare and just put my head down and do the most I can do every single day.
I love it. And I bring that up because I want to make sure that those who are watching aren't just thinking like, oh, well, he's starting off at that age. That's why he's at where he's at. It's like, no, you can really do this at any age. It's just what your effort is. It's really, like you said, you get up early in the morning, you make the effort and the change within yourself to do that, regardless of who you are and what age, and that's what really puts the success on the table. So I just want to make sure that listeners out there are just aware of that. I want to bring the perspective of no matter where you're at, like this is what it takes. So I hope I get that across.
Great way to put it. It's a great way to put it.
Is there anything else that you want to share, or where people can, just reach out and connect with you too?
So recently I started a YouTube channel. trying to help people who haven't gotten their first deal yet or other young entrepreneurs get started. So it's Colin Hughes REI. That's my YouTube channel. I'm also posting on Instagram, TikTok, everything, honestly, Facebook included. But my whole goal is to inspire people. I want to help as many people as I can. And I got very lucky to meet the people I have. But I know in reality, most people won't have that network that I had when I started, and right now included, honestly. So my goal is to inspire people. I want to help as many people as I can. And I think doing that, we can create a whole young group of amazing entrepreneurs who are all changing the world together.
Thank you, Colin, so much for coming on. I appreciate you so much and just taking the time and connecting and making sure that others know about you, what you're doing, and how to shed some light on some of the things that, are out there, and how to be successful. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a great time.